Dexter Resurrection is filled with extraordinary characters, but also some that are flat out useless. And since I've watched over 130 serial killer shows, I'm gonna rank every character based on their impact on the spin-off. Because trust me, there's some characters that look very important, but they actually add nothing. Let's start off with Harrison Morgan. Someone that is sloppy, someone that is emotional, but that's actually why he works. From episode 1, when he got his first kill, this sloppy technique immediately shows us Harrison is a boy that needs guidance. And here's the thing, his sloppiness isn't a weakness for the story, it's actually the hook that makes Dexter matter. Whether it's him cleaning up Harrison's kills, teaching him how to control that rage. Harrison's weak points are what give our main character purpose. Without this novice son of his, Dexter actually wouldn't have much to do, because everyone he loves is already dead, and continuing to just mindlessly kill over and over would make for a pretty boring show. I also personally love the angle of Harrison becoming a cop, because it makes it feel like he's actually part of the family, someone that can carry forward this Morgan name. He feels like this shining light that isn't tainted by his dad's reputation, his dad's line of work. Sure, Harrison has dipped his toes into it, but in the end, he wants more from life. These are all things that make his character feel unique, like he'll be around for a long, long time. But there's a man, a Latino man, trying extremely hard to ensure the Morgan name doesn't continue. A man watching this family like a hawk, Angel Batista. And his impact to the show is amazing, but it could have been better. Because from the start, he revealed his intention.
I'm just looking for confirmation about Dexter.
In episode 4, when he has his second conversation with Harrison, he completely exposes how badly he wants to catch Dexter, the real Bay Harbor butcher, which subtly gives up all the leverage Batista could have had. He instantly became the enemy of the Morgans, where instead he could have blended in, pretended to be an ally, pretended to be clueless just to gain more information. Imagine instead we watch Batista try to be Dexter's friend while secretly prying for more revealing things. It would have made a much more compelling dynamic, a much more compelling investigation. But instead, as we see in the first encounter between Dexter and Batista, everyone's intentions are clear as day.
This can't possibly end well for you.
Making Batista's character a lot less impactful. Batista has simply become just another bad guy trying to catch Dexter. His purpose is simply to add tension to the plotline, but we already have Claudette Wallace doing that exact thing. Don't get me wrong though, since Batista has such a lengthy connection with Dexter, it does make it interesting to see how Dexter will handle Batista when he eventually finds out. Will he show mercy to an old friend, or will he really become just another man on his kill table?
What the fuck? What the fuck? Who are you? What are you doing? Don't kill me, please!
Someone that will never end up on Dexter's table is Claudette Wallace, the lead detective in the show, who actually plays a bigger role than any of you could ever imagine. The role of applying pressure. From episode 1, she has such a high level of intellect that simply would scare off any serial killer. Whether it's solving where Harrison got his kill, or simply sensing the panic in someone's voice from a phone call.
I feel that this conversation is more effective in person.
These are all things that shape her up to be such an extraordinary person, even gaining compliments from Dexter Morgan himself.
Just what Harrison needs. A good cop.
It's clear she controls the environment of this show. Dexter can't slip up and Harrison can't slip up, because they aren't hiding from regular cops. They're hiding from someone that casually says,
Murder is all I think about.
there are tons of shows where that overly passionate cop, the person that cracks the case. And without this person, that investigation is passionless. And we see that passion just oozing out through her rigid tone, her pushiness, her due diligence.
Tommy.
Compare this to any of the detectives in the original show, and all of them fall short compared to her, making her an easy S-tier character. Now, Blessing, the welcoming landlord, is also a phenomenal character. But unlike Detective Wallace, his impact to the show comes from his home. His home is filled with warmth, with laughter, with vibrance that actually keeps Dexter Morgan mentally sane. A place to feel welcome every time he finishes his hard day. This is equivalent to him back in 2006 going home to Rita and his kids after a tough day of murder. And without this touch of normalcy, Think about how quickly a serial killer would start losing his mind, being alone in their thoughts, in isolation. Who knows what type of man he would become. They also provide so much general advice that actually helps Dexter become a better person, a better partner.
Don't want to die alone.
Exactly.
If we put this entire family dynamic together, it's also gonna be S tier. Perhaps a great example of killers that have lost their sanity is Leon Prater's group. These are the twisted serial killers that get turned on at the sight of murder, playing the role of pure evil. But that's about it. I'd actually say this group doesn't have much significance when it comes to the overall show. It seems like anytime we're about to connect with a killer from this group, he just die in the following episode. Lady Vengeance was an amazing character and would have been a fun dynamic against Dexter. Him finding love in another serial killer, what a phenomenal plot. But of course, she was then simply killed off just a few episodes later. Gemini killers also provide some very cool angles. Murdering for power, recognition, fame.
There are 4 Gemini bestsellers. Fincher's making a Gemini movie.
However, before we really got to understand them, they both died one by one in the following episodes. This makes it so hard for me to see their raw addition to this show. This might seem harsh, but it seems like they've been mainly added in just so Dexter has convenient targets to feast on. As for Leon Prater himself, I actually think this is a fascinating character that explores serial killing as an art. There are plenty of movies that show this approach, presenting murder as a craft, something people want to appreciate. For the first time ever, we're seeing someone appreciate murder at such a grand scale in this luxurious trophy room. This is what separates Prater from the rest of the group, actually makes him useful to the story. He adds a threat to the storyline. Since he's so knowledgeable, everyone is left wondering if Prater knows who Dexter actually is, building suspense through every single episode as we head towards the finale. But personally, I believe this elitist role isn't being played as well as it could be. There are phenomenal actors like Mads Mikkelsen, Lee Byung-hun, who show what a cold elite should feel like, should look like. It's that very calm, emotionless movement in their day-to-day activities. And I should feel exactly that watching Prater, but I don't. Maybe it's simply a directing issue, a casting issue, but he doesn't feel like this twisted leader of a serial killer group. It's very important we now talk about the main character himself. Because in this show, whether you noticed it or not, his role is very different because his motives have changed. In the original 2006 show, Dexter is the aggressor. He is the one that actively seeks out bad people and hunts them out every single episode to kill them. While here, it's almost like that's been completely flipped. He's no longer seeking chaos. In fact, at any time he's killed someone besides Red, simply because they were already acquainted with him through Prater's group, meaning he was never actively looking for them. This fact alone makes him such a more likable person. Now that he's not spending hours putting down plastic, instead see him spend a chunk of his time building his relationship with his son, going to his university scoutings, having dinners. These type of events used to be an annoyance to Dexter, but now they've become his priority. That shift right there is very respectable and makes him feel like a character that's evolving. And when you evolve a already fascinating character and you put him above just a mindless killer, it's hard for me not to give you an S tier spot. Which is why, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final ranking of every character in Dexter Resurrection. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree in the comments below, and if you love these kind of breakdowns, click this playlist filled with serial killer content. Make sure you subscribe so I see you guys next week. Bye-bye-bye. Deuces! Cha!